pace car is off, and we're ready to go green here in Pocono. The playoffs get closer for 64 laps we're doing around this tricky triangle here today as Joey Logano, who leads the field to the green flag here. Stages are 15, 15, 34 here today. A field run approximately 22 laps or so. Bubba Wallace all the way down to the inside. You saw there into turn one. Logano leads the way through the first turn, and Kyle Busch up here into second place. Jay, immediately one thing I noticed right there, Truex on the outside was able to do a power move around the outside of that M&M's Toyota Camry, get back up in a second, and actually even a run down the back here up the inside of the 22.
Yeah, immediately a move up the inside of Joey Logano to the inside for the lead through the tunnel turn in turn 2. He backs out of it there, though. Logano gets the momentum through the high side that time. Now he's back with against his teammate Christopher Bell. Kurt Busch also just behind them as well, making a move against his brother of Kyle there for a moment, but then backed out of it. And now they're back to 2 wide once again back here. Kurt Busch already early in this race, Gary. He's a guy who needs to have a good result here, and this is a great way to start off this race, already running inside the top 10.
Kurt Busch up there in the top 10. Keselowski as well. Here comes Chase Elliott with a big run down this front straightaway at the conclusion of lap 1. He's going to dive up the inside potential here. Nope, not quite there. Chastain on the outside. Actually 3 wide here. Chastain on the outside. Reddick in the middle. Elliott on the inside. But look at that. The inside seems to be at a bit of a disadvantage so far here as head down this first back.
Everywhere.
Yeah, look, maybe everywhere. You're right now as we see. Let's see here what happens with Kurt Busch, who's on the inside of Chastain. And yeah, definitely. He just powers right by on the outside. So already, Jay, I don't think we want to. If you want to be running good here, you do not want to be on that inside line. Number 14 of Chase Briscoe. This is uncharacteristic in the bottom 35. He is right now, and this is one of those bubble drivers as well. Yeah, there's a few bubble drivers. Almirola too, in that number 10. These are two drivers that cannot have runs like this. Yeah.
Austin Cindric back here as well. There's a lot of our big name drivers, especially like you mentioned around the bubble time, Gary, that are back here further back in this field right now that don't need to be back here.
We saw how difficult it is to make passes on the inside. I mean, they're still scrapping it out back there, but I think everyone's understanding it's hard to pass on that inside, so they're all just kind of settling in. And I think unless they can find a chance to maybe jump to the outside of somebody, I don't see anyone voluntarily trying to make a move up the inside here, and they're going to kind of be in this single file train for a while.
It's about to happen with the 45 of Kurt Busch as well, who was also to the inside, but he actually squeezes his way back up in front of the 8 of Reddick right there and saved his position. So Kurt Busch did a nice job. Byron so far though has not been able to do that. He was just in third a couple moments ago, and now he's just fighting to stay inside that top 10, still getting freight trained. Gonna get freight trained by the 45 right here, and possibly by his teammate Chase Elliott momentarily. Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez trying to find his way inside that top 10, Gary. Chase Elliott might be setting him up here to go 3 wide on the inside into turn 1. He is. This might actually wind up hurting Chase Elliott rather than help him, and Daniel Suarez too, as they're all gonna actually go 3 wide. This is getting a little bit scrappy all of a sudden.
It is certainly 3 wide. In the middle is that 99 Comscope car of Daniel Suarez. Elliott on the inside. Hamlin trying to squeeze into the top as well. Byron continues to fall down the order. Suarez was able to find a hole there. Elliott not quite now as Hamlin's to his outside. Suarez actually drops back down to the inside, but let's see if he can make something happen here. Byron had the chance right there to hop up, but he's not going to take it seems like there. And I mean, dropping like a rock in that 24, who's finding a very difficult time getting to that outside lane. At this point, Logano has won one stage only this season. He's got 2 wins, of course, with the Daytona 500, as well as the first time we went to Atlanta Motor Speedway with the brand new configuration. But here he comes through for the second time this season to win a stage here from Pocono Raceway. And the last stage point is going to go to that number 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Tyler Reddick actually getting some stage points there. Pace car is off. We're ready to go green for the start of stage 2 here from Pocono. Joey Logano continues to lead the way, and you're going to see immediately there, Christopher Bell, I thought was about to take a look there, up the inside down towards turn 1 there. To the inside goes Keselowski. Now Bell's going to drop down to the inside, but Jay, based off the trend so far, I don't think you want to do that for Christopher Bell. That might leave himself very vulnerable here on the exit of turn 1, and we already see Truex going around the outside.
Have to wait and see if maybe any adjustments can help that out, but certainly the inside lane, I mean, you can see already, obviously, Christopher Bell at a huge disadvantage once again. Now Martin Truex Jr. puts himself at that disadvantage side by side for the lead into the tunnel turn. Kyle Busch with the look as well. He's also going down to the inside lane, but obviously single file, it's not going to affect him too much. And Joey Logano powers back around to the lead, Gary. That inside lane still, no matter what, adjustments or not, going to be at a huge disadvantage against the person on the outside.
Very, very difficult to pass on the inside here today in Pocono. Not what you are used to seeing by any means there. And Bell goes from second to fourth. Chastain just behind Larson, who looked like he was going to have a really good start there. Now is actually on the losing end as well. Keselowski gets behind the 47 and the 8, about to follow through. And here we see a little bit of action going on in the background here. And Jay, look at this. Cody Ware is actually positioning himself fantastically. And this right here, this pass, is going to move him up into 11th place. A flawless run so far for the Rick Ware driver. Or, I mean, pit stops would probably be the best bet after that now, as here goes Stenhouse to the outside of Kyle Busch. Now, Stenhouse isn't really in a must. Realistically, he has to win, but he's not mathematically in a must win. But this is the best we've seen him run this season. Up at a third place goes at number 47.
We've seen all three Joe Gibbs cars that have been behind Logano try that same move several times. They've seemed like they've been faster down the straightaways and just cannot get the move done in the corners. Truex has a check up again as well, so Stenhouse easily clears up in a second place. Gary Stenhouse is flying so far in this stage number 2. There goes Kyle Busch for a move on his teammate. Keselowski, Chastain, Larson, they might go 4 wide into turn 1. No, it's still going to be 3 wide, so let's look and see if the 6 and the 1 get a run on the outside around that 5 car of Kyle Larson, who just put himself in a situation where he's going to lose more than he gains.
Is Daniel Suarez right now currently running in still 16th place. Not a great day for Suarez, but I mean still significantly better than what we're seeing from the other bubble drivers that he is trying to beat into the playoffs, but that is not going to do him any favors right there, trying to go up the inside of that number 7 of LaJoy. You'll see Austin Dillon power by on the outside, and Jones is probably going to be able to follow through as well.
Track, because clearly they're losing it all right now, trying to make moves on track with how fast they are. They just keep losing on the inside lane, though.
All 3 of them right there on the inside, and then there goes Kurt Busch powering around.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all over the back bumper of that 22 of Logano, but just can't go anywhere. I think the fact that Stenhouse is able to stick with Logano so much, Gary, I think that shows us how much speed there may not be in that 22 car, but he's just using the inside lane to his advantage, or the outside lane really to his advantage, and is able to stay in the lead.
And that's going to mean, for the 3rd time this season and 2nd time today, Joey Logano is going to come through to win a stage. He wins stage 2 over Stenhouse and Chastain, Larson, Keselowski, your top 5, and the final stage point going to that number 20 of Christopher Bell. That's going to be an important point to that number 20 team. And
better to see, as Stenhouse is already down.
Blaney, Keselowski ran to the back of the 5.
I think.
Kurt Busch is going to win the race out of the pit lane. Kurt Busch wins the race out of the pit lane. Reddick is in second. Keselowski's blowing up in the pit lane. That could be a bit of an issue there. Kyle Larson's behind him. Well, we were talking good about Keselowski, Jay, and there goes... Oh, yeah, Truex. Suarez is around in the background. He saves it. What has happened here? This is the craziest point of the race, and look at this. Keselowski has blown up. Kurt Busch won the race out of the pit lane. He is out in front in that Monster Energy number 45. The top 2 have not won races this year. Cody Ware is up in 4th place, by the way. So big shout out to them. But Jay, I mean, Kurt Busch has been given the opportunity I think he's been waiting on all year. It's been no secret. Him, and not only him, but the 2311 team struggled a lot this season here in NR2003. The consistency has not been there in the 45, but this is the opportunity he's been needing all season long. He's finally got it, and this could be his final chance to maybe get himself in the playoffs.
Not only him, but Tyler Reddick right behind him at 2nd place as well, because Reddick hasn't won this season, and we are getting dangerously close, Gary, to having 16 winners. And if we wind up eclipsing that 17, Tyler Reddick will be out of the playoffs after leading the majority of the year in the points. So he has had a rough stretch of races recently. Also, Cody Ware as well, who's in 4th place right now, but there's a pretty big separation. I think that he doesn't have maybe the speed to keep up with those leaders right now. And here's back here as well, a lot of guys who had issues on the pit lane, like Daniel Suarez. He was spun out at one point, got a huge run down this front straightaway, and is now looking to try and get past the guy who he spun out off his front bumper of. Also Hamlin up here, Byron trying to make up some spots, Larson trying to hold off that 18 of Kyle Busch. Gary, all of a sudden this order has been entirely reshuffled, and what it's done is put Joey Logano out of the lead for the first time in this race, and we'll get to see the true speed that he has.
And you got some major underdogs of Cody Ware, Stenhouse, McDowell all up here in the battle. Corey LaJoy is in the top 10 as well. I mean, what a wacky order we have found ourselves in here. Elliott is falling down the order, the 48 as well. As you can see, Blaney is having a bit of a rough day here in Pocono. Chase Briscoe continuing to try and work at it. So is Bubba Wallace in that number 10 of Almirola. Now Almirola is scored in the dead last position here. The question is, can Kurt Busch get through this green flag pit stop cycle with the lead? That's going to be crucial for him. Looks like he's going to come into the pit lane and bring Tyler Reddick with him.
And so we're only going to have 3 drivers wind up on the pit lane before our leaders get onto the pit lane. So they were perhaps trying what I was saying there, get onto the pit lane earlier and try something different than our leaders. And now if you seeing these leaders pit early, maybe you want to try and stay out later and maybe try and catch a caution or something at this point. You're going to have to do something different than those 3 leaders because it's going to be so hard to gain the time on them. It's going to be so hard to pass. So at this point, we're going to have to wait and see what these guys do.
For that number 22 of Joey Logano. So let's see here. Here comes Kurt Busch, as well as that number 8. And yep, I mean, he's not terribly far back, but yeah, he certainly gives up quite a chunk of time there.
So I don't think Logano's going to be able to gain that time here. And as well, it seems like the draft is a pretty big
caution
thing.
Is out.
Caution on the track.
Caution on the track in Pocono. This could spice things up. It looks like it's going to be the number 3 of Austin Dillon. Here's a look at the replay. Austin Dillon's going to pull in front of the 41 of Cole Custer on the first back straightaway, get himself turned into the wall, and sliding down towards the inside he goes. And for the first time today, the caution flies for the Richard Childress driver. Another, by the way, bubble driver here on the playoff grid. Pace car is off. We're ready to go green for an 8-lap sprint around Pocono Raceway. Here is Kurt Busch in what is a realistic must-win scenario to get in the playoffs. Leads away, and he took the lead at the beginning of stage 3. And actually, we don't see many cars really sporadically jumping out of line here into turn 1. But right now, Kurt Busch in perfect position to unsettle this playoff grid.
A late race caution is not what he wanted to see at all, but luckily on this restart so far anyways, been able to hold off that 8 car of Tyler Reddick right behind him, Joey Logano behind him, and then Cody Ware still up inside that top 5 and 4th, by the way. But here's Denny Hamlin making a move on his teammate Kyle Busch, and then actually gets back in line. So Hamlin also having a great day, back up almost inside that top 5. And so far, Gary, everybody back here is trying to make those moves. They know the restarts are the one and only time they could potentially get some passes made, and everybody trying to do that further back in this field.
Look at this. Look at this. Daniel Suarez, who was about 30 points ahead, or was gaining about 30 points on Almirola earlier in this race, is now being beaten by that number 10 of Eric Almirola. Talk about a downfall there for the number 99 ComScope machine of Suarez. That is exactly what he does not need here. Now is Bowman as well trying to go up the inside there, but Suarez, this is a huge hit to him as he's trying to go around that outside of that number 2 of Austin Cindric, and he will do just that. But very unfortunate there if you're in that number 99 camp now, as you can see up here towards the front. Jay Logano all over the back of that number 8 of Reddick, and we can't forget is Logano does have a few lap pressure tires, so it'll be interesting to see if there's anything he can do with that number 8 of Reddick. Still, it's Kurt Busch, a champion, who finds himself out in front, white flag in the air. Jay, we see Reddick and Logano pretty close together, but it's going to need to be something really big here, and it's not something that they can develop into turn 1.
Yeah, nothing for them into turn number 1. They do close in on that 45 of Kurt Busch, but heading down this first straightaway of the first back straightaway of this track, and it's still nothing Reddick can do off that corner. Might have lost a little bit of momentum now, getting a push from the 22 of Joey Logano, but still nothing happening for them into turn number 2. They're going to have one final straightaway, one final turn, Gary, to make something happen here, but it looks like it's not going to be for Tyler Reddick.
Not enough of a run right there for Reddick on the exit of the tunnel turn. He lost more than he gained, that's for sure. And it's going to be Kurt Busch who leads the way into turn 3. We've been talking about his season. It's been miserable. He's in a must-win realistically to get into the playoffs, and is going to do just that. He exits turn 3. Kurt Busch is going to come through to win in Pocono and put himself inside the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs now, as we see the rest of the field to come through to cross the line. Chastain rounds out the top 10. Cars sporadically spread out throughout the rest of the grid. Almirola recovers for a subpar finish there in that number 10 car for 22nd, and while Daniel Suarez, Briscoe all down there 29th and 30th of the place. That is going to be very miserable days for them, and Suarez, in what was looking like a day for him to gain a good chunk of points on the playoff grid, ends up being the exact opposite, and instead comes out on the losing end right there. And Jay, it certainly is going to be even more difficult now, because with Kurt Busch winning, he knocks Eric Almirola below the cut line.